Okay, so welcome to another session. So we have looked at the objectives. Now we want to look at what cascading style sheet is, or what we refer to as CSS. As I mentioned before, HTML is the language of the internet. You can build a complete website with just HTML alone. The problem with doing that, however, is that the presentation aspect of your website will be lacking. And that is where CSS comes in. Okay? CSS is a language used to specify how web page elements should be rendered in the browser. And what we have to take into consideration is that CSS is a separate language from HTML, but the two languages, HTML and CSS, complement each other. Okay? What is important that as a class you need to remember, CSS code indicates how that content should be displayed. Okay? So now it's important to remember that HTML is not case sensitive. CSS, on the other hand, is case sensitive. So we have to be very careful. It's a very sensitive language. Very, very sensitive language. How the language operates, and if we, let me just look at this slide here. So as you can see from this slide, the CSS style rule, here we have a style rule composed of selector and declaration. Okay, so what is the selector? The selector here that we are pointing at is if you notice, just the letter P. What is P? P is the paragraph tag in HTML5. Okay, P is the paragraph tag. So what we can do, we can always select any HTML tag. So it could be div, it could be P, it could be the A tag, the anchor tag, it could be any tag. It could be the table tag, the table row tag, the table cell tag. It could be any tag. It could be the semantic tags such as footer and header and section and main. It could be any tag from HTML. You can select any tag from HTML and apply particular attribute and a value to those attributes. So note carefully here. My attribute here is my text align. My value is center. My attribute is background property, background color. My value is ivory. All right. So, but some books will call it attribute. Some books will call it property. Okay. So that is important. I guess most books will stick to the value, but some books will call this section here that I'm looking at, this section here, text align, they will call that property or they will call it attribute. While some books will call it attribute, some books will call it property. But all books that I know of usually refer to like the center and the ivory as values. So we have a property and we're applying values to it. The entire attribute and value, or property and value combined, is referred to as a declaration. So note carefully then, a CSS style rule is made up of selector and declarations. And within the declaration, you have property and you have value. Okay? So that is important to remember. What else can we talk about? The style rule, I think I mentioned it before. It can be embedded within your web page, or we can have it external to the web page, or we could even have it in line with a particular tag. So let me say that again. Your CSS code can be embedded within a style sheet, and that is within the web page itself, or it could be external to the web page, or it could be in line with a particular HTML tag. Okay? And that is important to remember. All right, so here we have a style sheet with the code embedded. Okay? Embedded within the header of your HTML file. It's embedded within the header of your HTML document. So notice here we have our style. Yes, and embedded in it is a selector, and we have within that selector we have a property, background color, ivory, text align left. Okay, so let's look at that from a practical perspective. All right, so here we have, get rid of that and then we can add it back. So here we have HTML file, name index.html. You have all the features that you are aware of already. The document type, HTML, our language. Then we have our header tag. And notice this entire section is my header tag, opening header, closing header. We have our title. We have our character set encoding UTF-8. We have our responsive feature, viewport. We have our script here, which is a modernized, a custom, with this script, we're offering compatibility support for older browser. Not important, and we'll talk about that at another time. What is important here is that we have our embedded style sheet. So here I am creating CSS code, but it is not external to the file, to my HTML file, it is internal. Okay, so here I am selecting my H1 tag. So this is my H1 tag here, and I'm saying all my H1 tag will have a background color of red. I'm also doing a multiple selection. So here I have H1, and my P tag. And what I'm saying is that all my header 1 tags and all my paragraph tags will have a text align of center. A text align of center. So this information here will be in the center. Also, my paragraph will be in the center. Is that good? Are we good with that? Very clear? No problem. All right, so what we will do, we're going to stop right here for today, and I'm going to upload another video. Thank you very much. Have a great afternoon.